When have you chosen honesty over keeping the peace, and what did it cost you? I used to believe that keeping the peace was the kindest thing I could do. I thought that if I smoothed edges and swallowed hard words, I was protecting people I loved. I thought that silence was a shield. I grew up watching fights explode, and then die down with apologies that never changed anything. So I learned a trade. I learned to say small, agreeable things, to laugh when it was awkward, to step in and cool things without asking. I thought harmony meant safety. I thought my voice would only break the glass. Then one year, everything tilted. My mother started calling me less. She started snapping about small things, and then making jabs that felt like old wounds reopening. My sister stopped answering my texts. At family dinners, someone would slide a story across the table like a landmine, and everyone would practice their silver smiles. Inside, I collected tiny injuries. A tone here, a minimization there. I kept folding them under a blanket because I valued the peace more than the truth. The blanket got heavy. I began to dream about saying the thing I knew would make them uncomfortable. I pictured the face that would fall when the soft lie left the room. I pictured us having an honest conversation for the first time. It felt like hope. The real moment came on a Tuesday. I was at my mother's kitchen table. There was coffee. There was a casserole dish cooling by the stove. My sister was on the phone. The topic came up, small and mean, about the choices I had made, and the jokes that followed were not jokes. I felt the blood go hot. For a second, I almost smiled and let it go. Then I remembered all the other times I had swallowed. I remembered feeling smaller and smaller. I said what I had rehearsed for weeks. I said that those comments cut me, that I felt dismissed, and that I wanted changes or I could not keep pretending everything was fine. My voice shook. It was not eloquent. It was honest. The room changed like someone flipped the lights. My sister hung up the phone. My mother said my timing was wrong. She said I was dramatic. She said I was choosing hurt. There was a silence that felt like a decision. That week, they asked me to stay out of the Thanksgiving plans. They called me cold and unforgiving to mutual friends. My phone filled with messages that tried to remind me of my place. I felt the ground give under my feet. It hurt. It hurt in a new way, because this was the cost I had feared and still chosen. For a while I sat with the loss. I slept badly. I cried in the car. I tried to fix it with softer words, and then with apologies. Those felt like old blankets. They kept me warm for a night, and then left me shivering again. Slowly, and in small ways, I started to notice other things. I stopped rehearsing how to avoid being the problem. I stopped shrinking. I found a friend who sat with me and listened instead of smoothing. I started to speak my mind at work when a teammate took credit. I started to name small hurts when they happened. People were surprised. Some left. Some stayed and changed. I learned that honesty does not always break things. Sometimes it clarifies them. Not everyone wanted the truth. Some people liked the quiet, where no one asked anything of them. But I also learned that my silence was a tax on my life. It cost me peace of mind, not just fights. I realized that harmony made for a quiet surface, but left me hollow below. Honesty cost me family dinners and a sense of belonging for a while. It also returned my sense of self. I still miss the old peace. I still miss pretending that everything can be brushed smooth. But I would rather have the ache that comes from being known than the easy numbness of being liked for a version of me that is always small. I'm learning to balance the two. I speak with hands open and tone soft, and I accept that sometimes the answer will be silence. The cost is real. The price is also a kind of freedom, and that freedom is worth the whole left at the table. If you like this video, then follow us for more.